Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. To get you in the Halloween spirit, I created this zombie-inspired look using items that you might already have at home. So if you're interested and want to see how I created this look, keep on watching. When creating a look like this that might be outside your comfort zone, it's always a great idea to pull an inspiration photo to use as a guideline. I always like to search Google Images, or better yet, use Pinterest. And don't worry, I got you guys covered because I created a Pinterest board just for this look. So definitely go and check that out. To create the pale complexion of a zombie, I'm going to be mixing the white color from the Makeup Forever Flash palette in with MAC Face and Body in my skin tone. I'm going to be mixing the two colors together on the back of my hand and then applying it to my skin using a damp beauty blender. You don't have to use the Makeup Forever Flash palette for this. Any white face paint will do. And the reason I'm mixing in the cream color into the foundation is because it's going to give the complexion a more realistic look versus being completely white. And if certain areas of the skin do end up looking a little too pale, feel free to just add in a little more foundation as you go. And don't forget to apply that foundation to your lips as well. Using the Anastasia Cream Contour Kit in the shade Light and Smith Brush 124, we're going to give ourselves a rather extreme contour. So first feel where your cheekbone would be and start contouring a little higher than normal. And you're also going to drag down that contour almost in like a rainbow shape towards the side of your chin. You're also going to contour the temples, sides of the nose, jawline, and down the neck. To blend out that contour, I'm going to be using the MAC 130 brush, and I'm also going to be going back in with the Beauty Blender to just make sure there aren't any harsh lines and to make sure that the contour isn't too dark because we do want to look rather pale. When contouring the eye sockets, grab a smaller brush to be more precise. I'm using the Sigma E45 brush, and it's okay if this isn't perfect because we're going to go back in and define it more with eyeshadow. And then I'm just taking the Beauty Blender with some of that darker contour to the outer edges of my face to narrow out my bone structure. I'm going to be setting the complexion with a translucent powder. I'm using the Makeup Forever HD powder, and I'm just lightly dusting it across my entire face. Doing this is going to allow any other colors that we add on top blend out a lot easier. Even though our contour is already looking pretty intense, we're going to further define it using the Anastasia Contour Kit, but this time in the powder form, and Smith Brush 112. This is going to allow us to chisel out certain areas of the face, like the cheekbones, temples, and jawline. From here, I'm going to move on to the eyes, and I'm going to start by applying a dark shadow base. I'm using the NARS Velvet Shadow Stick in Dark Angel, and I'm applying it really close to the lash line, and before that product has a chance to set, I'm going to blend it out with a large smudge brush. This one's from Morphe. It's the M408 brush, and I'm also going to do the same to the lower lash line. Don't be afraid to blend this out further than you normally would because, again, we're trying to create the appearance of a zombie. When picking out your shadows for this look, think of colors that resemble the colors of a bruise. I'm going to be using Makeup Geek's Dirty Martini, Preppy, Desert Sands, Bitten, Corrupt, High Tea, and Chickadee. And I'm going to be using a variety of these brushes in order to apply these shadows, but I think as I was doing this look, I ended up using mainly one brush, so feel free to use whatever eyeshadow brushes you'd like. I'm going to start by applying the shadow Desert Sands. I think this shadow really makes the entire look. It's really comparable to MAC's Uninterrupted Prolong Wear shadow, and I'm applying it to the outer edges of the eye sockets, around the nose, and then I went kind of crazy with it and started applying it all over my face and blending it out with Smith Brush 112. Next, I'm taking the shadow Bitten and applying it to my eyelids, and I'm going to really concentrate that color onto the lids and around the lower lash line. This color is also very fitting for this look because it really does give that overall dead appearance to the makeup. And again, I started going a little crazy with this shadow, and I started blowing it out more along the edges of the eyes, around the nose, and other areas of the face that I wanted to look like they were bruised. The great thing about this look is that you really don't have to be precise with your application. You can have fun with it and just kind of go crazy with the colors. The last color I'm going to be applying on the eyes is Corrupt, which is the black shadow. I'm just going to pack that onto the lid closer to the lash line, and again just start smoking it out towards the rest of the colors. A great tip for this look is to apply a ton of shadow to that inner corner of the eye or crevice that we tend to conceal on most days, because it's going to give a really dead appearance to the eyes. From here, all you're going to do is start applying those shadows that are on the eyes to certain areas of your face and neck that you want to look bruised, and definitely start incorporating some of those other colors I mentioned, like the greens and the oranges. Also notice that I'm applying those shadows to the skin using the smaller brushes and then blending it out with the larger Smith 112 brush. Now that that's done, grab a kohl liner. The messier the better. Maybe it's a good time to bust out one of your old eyeliners that you stopped using because it was so runny or wouldn't stay in the waterline, and use that to fill in the upper and lower waterline. The messier the better, because you kind of want it to drip down into the rest of the eyes and almost give you kind of that raccoon look. In this case, it's totally fine if your eyeliner does that. And I'm also going to apply a little bit of that liner to the lids to just darken up the eyes. To create the lips, I used a combination of the Anastasia Liquid Matte Lipsticks. I started off with Sepia to create a good base, and I'm applying it just to the inner part of the lips. And then I went in with Trust Issues to give the appearance of blood. And after that, I blended out the two colors using my finger, but realized I blended out the color a little too far because I wanted the lips to look thin. So I just grabbed some concealer and a beauty blender to tone down that lip color. And then lastly, I went in with Midnight, which is the black liquid matte lipstick, and just applied it to the very center of the lips. Normally, to create cuts and scrapes, you would use liquid latex, but again, we're trying to use items that we may already have at home. So I'm going to be using the black duo glue. This is the same glue that you would use to apply your false lashes, and I'm going to let it sit for a bit to get tacky and then start applying it to my skin. This is going to create a really cool texture to areas that we want to look beat up or cut up, and I'm going to let that sit for a while. And in the meantime, I grabbed some of MAC's mixing medium in Shine. You can also use Vaseline for this part, and I'm going to apply it to my lids, especially the inner corners of the eyes, to just create a really cool effect. Now that the glue is ready, I literally just started peeling off certain sections. It's going to give the effect of an open wound once we start applying the blood. Technically, fake blood isn't something that you would typically have in your beauty drawer, but you can easily create it at home using cornstarch and food coloring. And I'm just using this fake blood from Ben Nye because I had it in my kit, and I'm using this textured sponge to add blood to those areas that we had created texture using the eyelash glue. And I noticed that the area around my mouth was looking a little dark, so I peeled off a little extra glue and went a little crazy with the blood. To finish off the look, I applied some of that blood to my fingernails and just dripped it down my fingers using a concealer brush, again from Sigma, and then tossed a ton of oil into my hair to make it look greasy and dirty. That completes the look. If you guys liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know what Halloween look you'd like to see next. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye guys. Just jump up?
Not jump. Zombies don't jump, do they?
Like, yeah!